about a month or two back, everywhere that I could see, there was this poster. Okay, so obviously because I'm from Mumbai and it's 26/11 happened in front of me. It happened in front of my eyes actually. I was in Juhu Hotel at that point of time when I was coming across to town. You sort of started to understand, oh, okay, this is 26/11, right. What is this? Well, this is major. What is major? Now, at that point of time, I said, this is a man with a great jawline. Okay, let me find out more about him. Then I'm saying, okay, I said, this girl though I really know well. Okay, so Saiee is in this. Who is Adivi? Then you go on Wikipedia, your greatest friend, and Google, and you read, and you go, oh, that's, well, pretty much the introduction. Everyone in the film fraternity that is not an actor had to major. But Adivi, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, brother man.
Saiee, so good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
But I'm right about this. It just came, and that's how it came, and that's how it sort of started to spread. It's a very emotional moment for a lot of Mumbaikars, of course. But before I come to the film, this has been, well, 100 marks to you, and now 95 marks to you also. For both of you, yeah, no, but for taking this forward, you have to really take your film out there. I've been talking to people in the last 2 or 3 years. What's happened is now people want it served to them because of what OTT has done. Everything's available to you. You don't, I mean, if you're scrolling through and if it's right up top on the list, you'll be able to watch it. When you want to take people to theaters, you want to take people to watch cinema and all, it gets very tough. So well done, 100 marks on that there. Because it's as tough a job, if not tougher, than actually making the film, writing the film in your case also. Yes. So how's this whole experience been here? Because it's been a 5-pronged attack by you.
I think it's just because of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an outsider in the movie business. I grew up in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I came over to South India and we started making films there. So it slowly made my name there. So when I got inspired by Major Sandeep Unikrishnan's story, मुझे ऐसे लगा कि you have to tell this story all over India. And that's the biggest reason behind why we're telling it in Hindi. So the purpose of it, of course we want to make a hit film and all that, but the purpose is, that's not the pinnacle. The pinnacle is Sandeep sir ki story na, people have to know.
Right.
Because जैसे आपने कहा, even in your introduction, and it was actually a very eloquent introduction, you were talking about 26/11.
Yeah.
For me, he's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Because everyone talks about the last 36 hours and his courage in that last 36 hours. But what about the amazing 31 years before that? Did you know he fought in Kargil?
Yeah, well, now I've just tried to find out. You see, the thing is, we end up, especially real life films which are, you wouldn't call them docudramas, but you call them based on real effects. You start reading more about it once you know that the film is coming out. And I think that's actually happened to a lot of people. I'm from an army background as well.
Oh.
Yes. So, you know, I've seen that the realism that is there with this, you know, and I realized where you're more touching the note, and so, which is why I say once we started to see the promotion, we started to see what was out there, I realized that, okay, there's enough in it. And then the trailer came out and it was very powerful.
Thank you.
So it worked very well, and I was happy to see you in this. Why? Because, of course, you're the quintessential, you know, when every Dabang heroine is the quintessential perfect heroine for a Hindi household. Okay, it happens like that because you've grown up on watching a perfect Hindi star, which is Salman Khan, and you watch him and you watch that. But then also there's this struggle to break out of that mold also. You don't want to be stuck in that mold only. So this is not leaving that mold of a Hindi heroine, but there's enough in it for you to do that sort of is the right choice second. Correct. Second film is always a tougher choice.
Correct. 100%.
Especially when you come from a family that has made a million choices and knows all the right choices also. So how did you come on board for this tough, easy, what?
I remember actually Namrata ma'am called mom and said there's this movie and I'm sending you a character synopsis and you must go through it. And I'm sure you'll love it. So mom read it and she was like, Ju, you have to read this. And I
Achha, first she reads it, huh?
First she read it. Then I showed it to dad and all three of us had just given each other a look like, yes. Yeah. And then dad said it out loud. He said, you have to do this. And I was like, achha, okay. Then I met Sesh. He came down to Vizag to narrate the movie to me and mom. And I think in the narration only, we kind of felt the power of the movie. Like, mom got teary-eyed. I kind of understood, you know, what they're trying to do. And I think it was an immediate, like, I need to do this. Not even I want to do this. And I think when I was doing Dabang also, even in those interviews, people used to ask me, what do you want to do for your second movie? Second movie choices are more important than your first one. I didn't actually know. I just knew that I wanted to do something that is a little different from what I did before, because I
Obviously,
wanted to like try, test, fail, pass, just see what I can do. So I think when Major came, I took it up as a challenge because I knew that this is something completely different from what I've done ever in life. Like quintessential Hindi heroine I've grown up watching. I've like always aspired to be like them. So I
You have
think.
to be the quintessential South Indian hero.
Oh.
I'm just telling you, there's, I don't even know the definitions anymore, because I think, when people keep talking this word, this is, how the industry likes to coin a word. First it was nepotism, then it was pan-India. Actually, it's the world. We watch world cinema. You're watching as much of Money Heist because it's in Hindi. You're watching Top Gun in Hindi. Everything is Hindi. It's sometimes a very unfair fight, I say, because the budget of Top Gun is 2,000 crores. So you give me 2,000 crores and I'm sure you'll be flying through plasma screens, right? I'm pretty sure. Does that sort of, I wouldn't say fear, but does that sort of stop you and say, like, we have to make expectations realistic? How do I make the people understand, listen, you can't, it's unfair. It's like saying the CEO and the first time person coming to the job, he should perform like the CEO of the company.
When we first announced Major, and the announcement was largely for sort of my South Indian base. When we announced it, the first thing we said is it's the biggest film I've ever done. But it came from a place of the emotional span of the film. And I think today people, sometimes on iTunes, the number one song will be like this very acoustic, just a guitar. And the reason is because I think today people relate to soul more than they relate to the idea of how big something is. This film's even more expensive than Top Gun. They're expensive misfires.
Tom's been a part of actually a few himself.
Like The Mummy.
So,
so at the end of the day, for us, Major, while being extremely big canvas, we shot for 120 days. We built 8 different sets. We built the entire gateway of India, the entire Taj. Not to mention Sandeep sir's life is in 80s and 90s, right? His childhood. So his teenage years. So we had to create 80s Kerala, 90s Bangalore. और आज 90s Bangalore में सिर्फ flyover और hoarding है. तो हम उसी
all over India actually. Flyover no sir, no road. Here you have only khadda.
So it was just it was literally creating everything. There was no concept कि यार आप जाके camera लगाओ और shoot करो real location. So we had to build it or create it.
But I think that's the beauty of filmmaking. You got to see the canvas that is bigger. I mean, it must have been exciting for you also to see that world, and you're looking at an older car, you're looking at an older thing. I get very fascinated. I remember first time I got fascinated with, in modern times, say in the last 10, 15 years, once upon a time in Mumbai when I said, this is old lag raha hai. I saw seeing the Contessa car, you're seeing a Fiat car, you get very excited.
I think there was a recurring joke on set.
Yeah.
Where there was something old in this place. Hey, you know what this is? Hey, this is this. Like a little baby.
So we brought her these audio cassettes. And we gave her a pen. And we pulled out some of the tape and we said, what do you do?
Mean.
I mean, I didn't know what to do with this.
You're CD generation, right?
I'm DVD generation.
Yeah, DVD.
Like DVD players.
Achha, you're DVD. Okay, so we're literally before.
We're ending of VHS and beginning of VCD generation.
No, I think I'm much younger than I look. I will tell you my age a little later. But generally speaking, on a 120-day set, people don't understand how long it takes to shoot a film. Because when you're actually shooting sequences, songs can take a long period of time. Here, this is not that kind of film. Even though I'm sure in your childhood you were shown maybe 1 or 2 sequences of song. But just generally work-wise, was there a lot of work to do and sort of learn?
Learn a lot. Like I think the amount I've learned on Major in the 25 days I shot is more than I would have learned even if I went to like acting school for a whole year or something.
Really?
Honestly, I think.
So who's your teacher? Who's your teacher on set?
Oh, everybody. I feel like I learned a little bit from everybody on set.
Sweet.
I used to ask.
We also appreciated that she dubbed in Telugu for herself. So see, Major is one of those unique animals where it's not a film shot in Telugu dubbed into Hindi. It's every scene, every shot, every dialogue created for Hindi with an original texture for that, and even the scene is completely written differently for Telugu.
Wow.
So every actor, including myself, Prakash Raj sir, Revati ma'am, Shobhita, Saiee, Murli Sharma sir, all of us dubbed our own voices in Hindi and our own voices in Telugu.
You have a strong Marathi dialect also. Is it tough to sort of do a South Indian twang, or is it okay? Are you very good languages?
I don't know about being good with languages. I remember Dad taught me this trick because he has a Marathi slang
Yes,
too.
yes.
So when he used to shoot, he's done many
Yes,
South
I'm sure.
movies. So when he used to shoot, he used to write it down in Hindi with like E, Oo, small.
Oh.
And he told me every time you like get confused with the pronunciation, make them say it and write it down.
Phonetics, basically. Basically,
Yeah.
how it sounds, you should say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what kind of helped me with the dubbing also a lot, because then eventually I think even in the script they kind of made 3 words into 1 word to help me with pronunciation
sweet,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Plus she also is playing a North Indian character.
Yeah,
She's playing Isha Agarwal.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to really, but I guess to appeal to a larger audience, you've got a fantastic cast. And Prakash sir, and Revati ma'am, I'm like super duper fans of. Like Prakash sir was like staple for Indian cinema for a long time. Every film had him as the villain. So it's almost, and his eyes and just his sense also. I love how his knowledge of everything is so high. So off set, when you like finish the shot, is there a lot of talk of cinema or world politics? Because he's very worldly wise.
I think I've spent a lot of time with Prakash sir and Pony on their farm in Hyderabad. Got a beautiful farm, a baby boy, and we spoke so much about nature and about nurture. For me, Major Sandeep sir's dad in real life is an extremely fiery man, and he'll be very blunt on camera to a chief minister. That's how fiery he is. So it made sense that someone as fiery as him, Prakash Raj sir, plays him. Plus they know each other. So at the same time, for me, the best performance in the film by far was Revati garu.
She's incredible. She's forever long lasting.
Yeah, and you know, this tiny lady walks on set, and she's so unassuming, and you just think we're going to do the scene, and you do the scene.
Right.
Then you check her close up, and she's killed it with her eyes. And I'd go, okay, can I please get a retake? So that was quite.
Yeah, but he's only picked up national award-winning actors. That's why. So it's okay. But yeah, credit to him also, because I'll tell you something. There's this freshness about you. There's a lot of cynicism that can creep into actors over a period of time. Either because you know the set formula, you've got a star base that is there. It's almost like you can get through with it. I don't see that in your eyes. You've got this openness about your eyes, which is great. And when I was telling my crew that you're not from around here, it's now been about 10, 12 years since you have been from around here. But sensibilities haven't changed so much, right?
You know, I discovered my love for India outside. I grew up in Berkeley, right, in San Francisco. And
So you were discovering as an NRI kid or what?
Yeah, like in the sense, yaar, yahan pe na, bachpan mein, you'll have the Janagan Man, you'll have the Pledge, you'll have the August 15 Mela performances. वहाँ पर कोई नहीं था जहाँ पर हम रहते थे. So for me it was just half an hour Indian program every Saturday. So when I saw A.R. Rahman sir's Vande Mataram for the first time,
right.
I remember standing up and everyone in the house was like, what are you doing? So no, I need to stand up when I watch this song. I remember being a little kid saying that. So I think that always stayed. That I kept falling in love with the country. And I guess it made sense to move back here to pursue my acting career.
And you come back to acting, so you can actually live that life. Have you been a very patriotic kid, like in the sense watching
Yes,
patriotic
I have
films, all of that? Are you that kind of kid?
I mean, I enjoy patriotic films, but I feel like I actually had this conversation with my aunt who lives in London. I was there, and we had a conversation about Indians outside India kind of
Having a little
value
more.
India
Yeah.
more and value their values more. Is really weird. It's sad, but it's weird. So
If you go to Hounslow in London, you feel like you go to Punjab in 1970. You don't feel like you come into the 2000s, man. Because they live still like that and they still believe that.
Yeah. But I think growing up, patriotic films were one of my favorites, like Chak De India, Border. Like I used to actually have fun watching them.
The thing is, because I come from an army back, I actually found Lakshya very interesting.
Very nice.
It didn't work with the audiences.
Very nice.
Because, I remember somebody saying, "Aisa thodi na koi marta hai." So basically he fired and that person died in half a second. Like earlier in Indian films, it would be like, for a long time. I think Lakshya didn't work with that. Later on when Uri came, I think they sort of agreed to it. But even then, and this is where I want to ask you, a lot of senior film people, I watched it with them, Uri, they didn't think it would work. They said, this is too technical a film. And it shocked everybody that it worked. And that was, I think, the first time there was a huge shift that I saw in the audiences where they didn't want melodrama. They were good with, just people wearing goggles, going out there and doing it, and they didn't have to see the hero's face. Do you think that also, have you seen, I'm sure you've seen Uri. So when you were making this also, was that also in your head when you were writing it also?
Aditya is a friend. I was just talking to him before this interview. And I was inviting him to today's screening. I think I can clearly see that kind of sensibility sort of being in vogue now. For me, with Major, I think I was trying to find a balance between, I guess, middle-class Indian emotion and sort of these very grand action sequences. See, I'm also blessed with the idea that for 4.5 to 5 hours inside the Taj, Major Sandeep sir was in the other floor, and everyone only heard gunfire. They have no idea what happened. There was no CCTV. There's no visual evidence.
Right.
So there's no one to say how and what the action sequences.
So that was
should
created.
Be. So that was created. At the same time, it was so important because he is the boy next door. In fact, the first 35 minutes of the film, you might say, "Kya ye main jaane tu ya jaane na dekh raha hu?" Matlab, you show him having kheer with Amma. You show him fixing typewriter with his dad, his school crush, cutting class, going to DDLJ. Like we show this in 1995 Bangalore. And it's only in the second half when he has to make big decisions in Kargil, big decisions inside the Taj, that we realize that each of those big decisions is influenced by these small experiences. We connect each of them.
But soldiers are very human in nature, So if that backstory hadn't been there, maybe they wouldn't have understood the decisions. And that's there in the trailer as well, where Prakash sir says he didn't have to do this. He could have come out, he didn't. Shooting action in India now, I think, has become staple. You want to see big action sequences. You want to see something large.
All credit.
Action films for you also, Sai? Do you like watching grand action films or?
I love watching action films, but I get a little scared if there's like too much blood and like cutting and organs coming out and all. Then I shut my eyes. I can't.
Have you seen your father's films?
Yes.
There's only blood and there's breakage and gusa mara in that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So are you going away from that? So essentially speaking, this is the realistic cinema now. A lot of people want to see realistic. So rather than people flying 100 feet, they don't mind seeing somebody's jaw being broken. So how would
jaw breaking and all is fine. But if I
achha.
see like someone's intestines coming out, I'll just be like, I can't.
Am I seeing intestines?
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not.
We're not seeing intestines in this.
I have no idea how this became a topic about intestines. But
No, you're asking for like action movies.
There's no intestines or jaw breaking in Major.
It's actually really cool action. Like I enjoyed it. I had fun.
A lot of wire work as well. Big time.
Sort of,
at least you see that in the trailer.
We did about 2 shots in the film.
That's it?
Really. And those are the only 2 shots in the trailer.
So physically, I mean, you would expect it to be a very physically demanding film for you.
Oh, yeah, man. This knee.
Trouble?
Yeah, that's why I kind of cross it like this all the time.
So while the action or what? So let's just talk about the action. Let's see. You had the canvas, you had 8 sets that you were setting up. We'd love to hear about the action part of it.
I mean, I'm playing different ages, first of all.
Yeah, of course.
So before the film started, at 6'2", I was about 83, 84 kgs. I had to come down to 81, 79, 76, 73, go back to 76, go back to 81, come back to 76, because I'm playing Major Sandeep at different ages. And
why not shoot just one age group in one go?
The pandemic.
Ah.
We were shooting with whatever permissions we could get. Every time we were getting into the groove, we'd lose a military installation because the army said, there's COVID, we can't endanger our soldiers, you can't shoot. So, 3 mahine gaye wahan pe. So I had to do a lot of that. And I'm also left-handed. And I'm known for sort of these very sort of stylish spy kind of films in Telugu. And to go from that ye wala to actually the gun turning this way and being right-handed. And you actually need to move very naturally like a super soldier. You pull up your MP5 weapon, fill in the magazine, empty it, bring your cig out, and you're doing this as you move without stopping, and you're not even looking.
You've become pretty much like a writer. I wouldn't have known that you were southpaw, man.
Yeah, so I think I think that was because I saw Major Sandeep's videos. You have to understand, in India, the army is the elite.
Yes.
And the elite in the army go into the National Security Guard. And this man is a training officer of the National Security Guard, meaning he taught the elite how to be elite. So it was immense, the kind of physical demand. But I think at the end of it, emotionally understanding him became the biggest challenge. Oftentimes I'd call Amma and say, so we're doing this scene, yahan par Sandeep sir gussa hone wala. And she'd be, no, he would laugh here. He would smile.
Your parents have a very strong role in both your Choosing scripts,
So
deciding?
I apologize. I called Sandeep sir's mom. Amma. I used to call her auntie, and as research went along, we just became close. So uncle and amma, when I call her and I'd ask her these things, she would surprise me. So it's almost like they were consultants.
Yeah, collaborative effort completely looks
so,
like it.
So I'd have to rework this entire scene that I'd planned for.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty immense.
You know, you come into a set and there are a lot of expectations, with your name, with who you are, you know, so you've got like for us, the first time that we're seeing him, your first 5 days of shoot, you know, the first day will probably be like, how's it going? There's no, like, we probably met a few times before maybe, did you?
Yeah.
Like once or twice?
Thrice.
Thrice.
Yeah, about thrice. Yeah.
How's the first 4-5 days of shoot?
First 4-5 days of shoot?
Yeah, because
really
it's another new film.
You know what they did?
Yeah.
I remember like the first day of shoot, I went like 3 days before, and they got me like a very long scene of mine and one of the toughest scenes of mine in Telugu.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, in Telugu, and rehearsed that with me. So I think they were just trying to like, okay, you can do this, like, yeah, like.
Why is that? A lot of filmmakers actually do that. The toughest
did
part at the
you do
beginning.
that?
Why not let them ease into the character?
No, we did. The thing
Oh
what she's
no!
talking
I
about is
feel
the
like
rehearsal.
that really helped me, because it made me comfortable with him, with Sashi sir, because I kind of like let go of my inhibitions in the beginning and then started shoot, and I feel like
Were
that
you
was really
nervous?
helpful. Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
Are you nervous on a daily basis sometimes, or do you think just the first day becomes a problem? Or any big shoot, big scene day?
No, I feel like I'm a little socially awkward, so I get nervous when I don't know people well enough. Once I get to know them, I think I can do things in front of them. But when I don't know people, I'm just like, oh.
And this took how many days for her to get less socially awkward with you?
I think it was just the first
Yeah,
day.
just the first
But
day.
that's why we had these rehearsals. The first scene she actually did was pretty easy.
Yeah.
But the first 3 days was rehearsed. We were rehearsing all these other scenes we were going to shoot way later.
Oh.
So the goal was to really sort of dunk her in the water.
No, but it works. I think. See, eventually you've got like the edit table, so you can always cut things and move it out. But you also had like a pen and paper in your hand, and when you write things out, how does it work out for you when you're doing it, you're performing it? It's very tough to actually. You envision something as a writer, and then when you're trying to perform it, very rarely do you see people who have had a hand in the script also performing.
I guess, I mean, I'm known for sort of writing my own stories there.
True.
And I think it came
but
out
still, it gets tougher and
Yeah.
different each time.
It came out of necessity. When I first came into the movie business, as an outsider, I didn't get a lot of opportunities. I didn't know anybody.
Right.
And I don't know how to audition for the life of me.
Really?
I just find it awkward where somebody's sitting there judging whether I'm good enough for something. so I just, it came out of necessity that we put peanuts into a film and I just wrote it and then the journey started. In fact, my first big hit was remade by Sajid sir as Baghi 2. So that was kind of my first, sort of my first.
As a writer and as a performer.
As a performer. So I started getting used to that, but then with Sandeep sir, all bets are off. Because in a biopic, usually you're adding a little bit of magic, a little bit of masala, ताकि मतलब थोड़ा entertaining लगे film. This man is a very cinematic man. Like उनकी ज़िंदगी में बहुत सारे ऐसे cinematic experiences हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा था यार कि क्या cut करें. So it actually became about the process of removing rather than adding things. So that was probably an immense challenge. But once we went through that for about a year, I was happy to get into the acting part.
How's the end product been for you? And have you seen the full thing more than once?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's been great because the first time I watched it with my family. And some of them are a little reserved. Dad is a little like reserved with his compliments.
But he must say that you've improved.
That's exactly what he said. In exactly that tone. Oh my God, that was creepy. That is exactly what he said, and he was really happy. Like he gave an interview that I actually watched yesterday. I didn't like fully watch. I watched it yesterday, and he said that even if Saiee wasn't in the movie, I would have thought it's a masterpiece. And that just says something when my dad is saying it, because he doesn't give away compliments that easy. And many of my family members were very reserved as people. Like they won't even like, come up and like, you won't see them laughing, crying, just very like meek people. They were, yelling, screaming, clapping, hooting, crying. And I feel like that was really great because you kind of get to see what is making you feel. Even a shy person, a reserved person. And I feel like maybe different people feel different things. Like most mothers came out bawling their eyes out. most of my younger boyfriends,
Younger boyfriend.
younger boyfriends or guy friends
Yeah.
came out full like chhati taan ke Bharat Mata ki jai.
Yeah.
My dad and all came out appreciating, you know,
Yeah.
cinema,
The filmmaking.
The filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I feel everyone had really different reactions to it, but everyone took something away from it.
Yeah.
That is Major Sandeep's story, and I feel like that was really amazing.
Wow, she's pretty much summed it up, yeah.
You know, a really big moment for me was when she called me with her dad on the line, and the guy goes, "This is absolutely fabulous. आप बस सो जाओ, कुछ भी करने की ज़रूरत नहीं."
सो जाओ.
अभी actually 10 days का tour लगाने वाला है. You know, and I was so happy to find out from her mom that in a film screening, जहाँ पर मतलब हर हफ्ता में कहीं ना कहीं एक premiere पे जाना पड़ता है.
Yes.
You've got all these families.
Yeah.
All the film families, Sajid sir's family, Nadia Dawala sir's family, Murad sir's family, the Manjrekar family. And you've actually got a bunch of these kids and a bunch of these people actually singing Jana Gana Mana after the movie's done in red bulb. So that was something. You know, the idea that there was no cameras there, there was no paparazzi there, it was not dikhawa for anything, but they genuinely felt this emotion that we felt making it the whole time.
I think it's worked on many accounts. And I'll tell you, the last time I had a father on the show say that the daughter's fantastic was Gangubai. But Saab said, she's the best. It worked. So congratulations. I think in the advance, already it's got some great reviews. Like some of the critics can be tough to sort of please, especially in this day and age where, well, any film is pretty much like a, how should I say, it's like a bit of a lottery system out there because you don't really know how it's going to work. Yes, you've got a good product, but will the audience come? Will the audience stay? Will they come on a Monday? Will they come on a Sunday? It all depends. But major it is, kudos, like I said, you've done a 5-pronged attack. You deserve 100 marks for not just making the film, for putting the film out there.
5-pronged
Yeah, absolutely, man. All sides is out there. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Before You Entertainment is where you can also watch this. Apart from all the television times, all the local listings will be out soon.
Thank you.